Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. I wonder what this share your referral link is about. I think I might play with that later on, see what that is. It's a new little I guess it's something that we can see on the StreamYard end. So I'll take a look into that. But peace and blessings to everyone that comes in. Shout out to the replay gang. Um I want to have a topic today, a discussion about release. Um, I don't know if everybody checked out my thumbnail, but check out the thumbnail. Um, I want to try to it's like a visual of understanding of putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Um and in the thumbnail it's a jigsaw puzzle. So, basically, putting it together. A method to the madness. And I got that statement because um all the time, like I used to tell people all the time, it's a method to my madness. So, because a lot of times, like if I was working on projects or anything of the sort, I would sometimes people can't necessarily understand what you're doing. They say, "What you doing?" And I tell them it's a method to my madness. um well, lately I've been having a lot of madness. Or what let me explain it like this. Some things can happen to us. Some things we may be going through or experiencing or taking ourselves through. Pearly Queen, thank you for coming through. I always appreciate your presence, Queen. And I mean, to anyone on the outside looking in, it can be quite you know confusing or kind of keeping you on your chairs at the edge of your chairs, right? You're not quite sure of what's happening or where is it going or anything of the sort. And sometimes the person within the entire situation isn't necessarily sure themselves. Um, but I think I was kind of sure, and I've been quite intentional. Um, but I know that that can kind of leave, everybody else on the outside to kind of see it in a way that's not necessarily, um always I mean, I guess it could be positive, but it can be kind of scary, unsure. So, I tell them it's a method to my madness. And the method is, when it comes to healing, that you have to look at every aspect of yourself and you have to discover every part of yourself and the things that are hindering you from being your greater self, or the points that is making it hard or causing anything problematic within yourself to cross into the destination of self. you know Pearly says, I just noticed I didn't add a E to your name. Sorry. No, that's okay, Queen. It sounds the same. Angie. And I'll give you a breakdown of my name too. My Angie is with the J. A lot of people look at that kind of weird because they're looking for Angie, but my name's not Angela or Angel. Um, it's Anjani, and it's with a J, and so thus for short, it's Angie. But when you do these things, um, you're you're trying to clear out things. You're trying to I'll give you guys a visual. And I love this visual, okay, because I tend to think that I have a creative mind sometimes, right? And I'm very good at art. Ever since I was young, I just love art. Um, but I look at it as I'm in a room and I'm in the center of this room, and the walls, they are in a rotation. They move around me, right? And with different thoughts or ideas, I have the ability to paint on these moving walls or throw paint at them or anything that I feel, um, creating what it is I want these walls to show or say. Oh Lord. Mob Deuce, thank you for coming through, Queen. Peace and blessings to you. I'm so happy to see you, Queen. Mr. Down, you said you were gonna change your name. Or did you say that? You need to change your name. But I I think about release when you get to a point where these walls that you've been painting on, that you've been creating on, they either the art of it has become something that um that you no longer want there, or you've outgrown, or um it's become so clustered and or anything. And so it's created a volume, much like pressure or stress or um you know straining. And so it's time to clear some of it off or clear it all away. And that's what healing is at times, where you know somebody will say, you're just painting it all white again, you worked so hard, it was so beautiful. um but in your mind, in your thoughts, there's a new improvement method, result that you're looking for. You say you work a lot. You got me though. Okay, King. I look forward to that. I look forward to that. Thank you for the consideration though. Um you want better, you want better for yourself. You want better for the ones that see you. You want better for the ones that you consider. You want them to see the better of it, right? So in the midst of it, it's so strange. It's uncertain, and at times can be uncomfortable for you and anybody else, right? And but the releasing, you're just clearing it all away. You're clearing it all away. And this is where even in that time, you've created a form of trust within yourself. You've created a form of trust, that once it's all said and done, whatever is there to witness the greatness, it's because they've trusted in your process, even if they couldn't understand it, even if it makes them nervous or unsure, and wanting to be able to tug for a direction, you know, um, understanding, and um, sometimes it can be quite scary. Uh, so I try to reassure myself that you are the creator of your art. You are the creator of, what you are seeing, where you're going. You are the creator of how this is viewed, So with me being the artist, I have to be able to give insight of a certain direction so that even if it leaves any uncertainty to anyone, or they can't quite see where this may be going, you know they're in the process of gaining that trust that I see within myself, to even just do over all of the art that I've already done, to just start over and just finding comfort in enjoying the process. Enjoying the process, and release is it's the part of the craziness that's going, that can't be seen, that can't be explained. It's not quite understood. I don't know what you're doing with this. I don't know where you're going. I don't know what this means. So, you're holding your breath. Okay. But after release comes relief. Terry, thank you for coming through, King. Peace and blessings to you. After release comes relief. And so when I started doing this healing journey that I've been sharing with you guys, um, I don't know how anybody may have viewed it, but I hope that everyone, um, given the, just gave it the trust that Angie has something from this. And not only that, but I hope that everybody was able to gain something for themselves. Critical, thank you for coming through, Queen. Shout out to you, y'all. I cannot see with this link right here. You sliding through, Queen. Peace and blessings to my sis. I tell my sis all the time, I'm behave. I'm gonna behave. And she said, and then I end up not behaving. But that's my partner right now. That's my OG right now. And I in this time, of just being just opening up myself, and expressing myself, and not only expressing myself, but you know, doing some spring cleaning in my healing that I felt necessary, and just trying to address some of the things, or whatever important things that I felt was really really needing to get cleaned out. Thank you so much, Critical Queen. Um you know I just felt like some of this needed a release. And there's plenty more, but some things may get spoken on, some things may not. I'm not quite sure. Healing is forever. But in all of it, I want to make sure that I always want to make sure that everything that I do is with love, especially to those that I love. And sometimes they can be quite scary because the ones that you love, they love you back. And so if they're uncertain of where you're going with this, you can kind of have them, a little worried, whether it be good or bad. You just never know. So, but after release is relief. And I know this past week, I've been playing a lot of music lately, because what I've noticed is that I have a tendency to pour into a lot of people's hearts, and or try to, or sometimes I tend to give myself away with you know, the concerns of the ones that I care about. And I kind of neglect myself. So even with me in my art room with this moving canvas that I call four walls to make up a room, I decided to, get creative with the way that I pour into myself, whether it be through music or my thoughts. And see, we can't just pour into ourselves. Yes, Pearly Queen. We can't just pour into ourselves just in one subject. I think a lot of people miss that. Um, we have to pour into ourselves in many subjects. So, even with my music that I post on, that I share on the community board, you can tell that it has a lot of different forms of I guess topics or anything or whatever. I mean, um it's because I'm pouring to myself in different aspects of myself. I am collecting the pieces of the puzzle, and I'm just not one piece or one area of a puzzle. I'm everything that makes this puzzle, right? I'm the warm colors, the cool colors, the shapes, you know, when you just consider, everything that makes you, and that's part of being, um, just the being. I don't want to just say feminine because masculinity, they have these different parts of themselves too, these different elements that they need to feed in as well. We all do, you know. Um it's what I give to you is what is necessary for me to give myself in everything. I can't give something that I have not given myself, because how do I know if it works? How do I know how it affects you? You were singing to the playlist, Queen. Shout out to you because we've been jamming, right? I want to go to a place where lovers go, do the things that lovers do. And I even have a meaning for that one as well, that song, Queen. And it's a mindset. Going the place that lovers go, doing the things that lovers do. It's a mindset, you know? And I embrace this mindset. It's something that I love. Um, because it's peaceful. Um, I think that it's the greatest place to exist in. And so while I'm out on the venture of the world, I'm used to saying, "Hey, come join this environment of love." You can't turn it off and on, right, Pearly? And I've gotten so used to trying to convince that I know this place, that it's a beautiful place. I've been there, and I just I want you guys to go with me. But with doing that, I find myself losing because I'm giving everything out, and I'm not filling myself back up. So now I'm back at the place of love, right? And if anybody wants to join me, you'll join me because you see how good I feel in that existence. That's what I'm working on. And that's why I had to releasing all of the things that was making the view of my art, of myself, hard for anybody to receive. is exactly what I wanted them to view or see. So there's a method to my madness. And that was the method. That is the method. And there's no fear in that. I'm not perfect. And I got a lot of things that I need to correct as well. And I'm never too big to understand that. And that's all about, you know, the releasing. The more you release, the more you can figure out what it is that you need to release. Um, it's kind of like this. When you become a hoarder of hurt, of pain, um, you leave no room for healing, for love, for trust. People, we cry for blessings all the time. We cry for, um, things that are seemingly what we all aim for. But because we haven't let go of all of the things that we're hoarding inside of our beautiful canvas room, we left no space for the things that we solely desire to come in. Love you, Chica. Thank you so much, Queen. You always a blessing when you come up in here. You're going to stop the show. I'm telling you, because you're the queen and everybody needs to know. Everybody, please give the Dawn some respects. Y'all give her a shout out. Critical. That's the one. She's been helpful in so many ways. I'm forever grateful for that beautiful queen. I rocks with that one. That's my partner. And so that's basically, everyone does it. Biz today, have an awesome life. Do your thing, queen. Oh, you get mad love over here. Period. Critical gets all respect over here. Period. Let's never forget that. Okay. um but I want to share that because sometimes it can be um when you're walking in a space of uncertainty, when you're walking in a space that can feel like a gamble, or you're not quite sure, you can see all of the possibilities, yet you can see all of the problems that may be or that may come. So it leaves you in a weird space of hesitance. And this is where the full understanding of how you cannot control anything outside of yourself. You know what I'm saying? When you're able to let go. Yes, they need to know, queen. Period. When you're able to let go and see how it comes back to you, you know, then you grow fonder of it. You gain a stronger um understanding for it. You embrace it better. Relief is that breath you take after you know after after release. It's after holding the pressure. It's after the stress. It's after the anger. When you release it, you're in the motion towards relief, right? So this is what that is. Releasing, so that I can enjoy that moment of relief in its fullness, without anything holding me back, without anything getting in the way, without without anyone, that's able to view or experience relief with me. Um, you know, questioning or doubting. It's of all certainty. And it's something, it's that state of mind again. It's the place where lovers go. The things that lovers do. Shout out to Critical for bringing up my jams today. um, it's heaven. It's heaven, and you know, uh, it's a state of mind. It's a place that a lot of people, they don't get the opportunity to necessarily experience in this existence, right? It's a place that I've gotten to experience, and I found myself coming out into, um, the world. Thank you, Pearly Queen. Thank you. I love silent strength. Yes, it's a powerful weapon of mine. I tell people wisdom is silence, you know. Um and sometimes it's okay to find wisdom in the noise. And sometimes that's exactly what healing does. It helps you to find the wisdom in the noise. So that when you do go back to the silence and wisdom, you have inner peace. It's kind of like standing in a crowd, and the crowd is so loud, and you're yelling of something important, and nobody hears you. You know, um, it's a very tough place to be in, and sometimes you either have to realize, hey, the crowd is too loud, or you go get you a microphone because you need that. Everybody deserves that. You have a right to it. You are just as important as everyone else. And it's crazy, but it's true. This existence has everybody in such a selfish or competitive mindset that they feel like everything is such a race, you know, that you have no right to 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 share or to exist or to be, because I'm taking all the existence from you. And that's not quite fair, and that's why Angie's been kind of quiet most of her life. It's kind of like feeling shunned because everybody else feels as if they're being um heard enough for the both of us. They're taking all of everything that you need to be heard for, and they'll take it and be heard for you. And it's kind of hard sometimes, just wanting to just be who you are, without it seeming like a tug of war. And sometimes especially with dealing with that for so long, you do tend to lash out. You do tend to scream because it's so frustrating, um at times, to feel like people are just so set and okay with you know just not allowing you to exist, not wanting you to exist, or if you're existing, then it has to be in the favor of them, you know but everybody has a right to exist. So now I'm no longer, I'm not forcing that voice anymore. This phase of life, I feel like I've created a space, and I'm just gonna enhance myself in this space and in bloom, because I feel like the healing that was necessary for being loud or being heard, I've done that. I've I've heard myself, and I've come to an understanding that it's not for anybody to hear, it's for me. That makes sense. I might be all over the place, but when you understand, I don't know why this thing is in the way of the comments at the bottom, y'all. Please forgive me. Um, and that's what I want to discuss as well. Especially us females. And I'll just say this because a lot of us look at things as far as relationships, and this is a part of learning intimacy within oneself, so that I can be able to give that same understanding for, friends, relationships, things of the sort. Um, we always talk about how men are protectors and providers. And thus, this is true because they are more dominant in the physical. So, yes, they protect, they provide. Um, but as women, we forget, or we don't tend to realize that we are protectors and providers too. And our protection and provision for partners or friendship is within our nurture. And so, with this understanding of my own release, I'm giving the same understanding for everyone to understand, uh, especially as women. When your man is out working on a provision for you, when your man is placing protection for you, if you're not protecting or providing a space for him to replenish himself, you're draining him of all he has. You're not giving him that back in return so that he can continue to give it, right? So how long you think this gonna work out before he get tired, women? When you understand that you're better off, most definitely, queen. That's true. You know, and this is why I give it to myself, because I have to understand. I have to be able to give it back to my friends, to my family, to my future partner. You know, that place of peace, that place of love and understanding. And I think that we kind of, us women, we get real selfish, and we don't consider it sometimes. We don't understand how that is so frustrating. You know, how one-sided most of our relationships are. That's why we fall out with homegirls all the time. We have complications, complicated relationships with our mothers and daughters. Um, you know, relationships with even our men. We don't have it because we lack the nurture within ourselves. We've made everything such a competition, even with our very own partners. You know, we got to be the ones that know better. We got to be the ones that know this for certain, right? We got to be the ones that are constantly inconsiderate of anybody around us while looking for others to be considerate of us. And I know this all too well because I've existed in my own, way of looking at the world and just seeing that, and how, the world is quite selfish. Even our men do it at times, right? It's because they're used to having selfish people around them. And I can't speak to the men because I'm not a man. So I'm going to speak to the sisters, right? And I'm going to tell you, the very thing that you seek from someone else, it is a great wisdom to figure what that is, figure it out, and become that within yourself. Now, this may hurt a little bit. You know what I'm saying? This may take some time a little bit for us females because the world has enabled us to become very lazy when it comes to accountability. But if you really want, you know what I'm saying? Or if you really care, for the ones around you or even for yourself, you'll accept the challenge. And because, pride is a very destructive thing to have. And I don't want to run away people that I care about, you know? And I don't want to be a part of the destruction of the ones that I care about. So I'm gonna be the first to raise my hand and say, um, I'm no longer I'm gonna find more creative ways of release to get relief, right? And this I'll never have to re-explain what the process is because I found another process. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. I'm gonna work on that for y'all. Because the process that I just did recently might have been something frightening, even if it is understandable. And it's not fair, you know, to those, who's looking like, hey, 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 are you okay? you know? But this world is a trip and it can be quite selfish. We can become quite selfish. And even though I am very deserving of some selfishness, at least I feel that within myself, it doesn't have to be um, without consideration. We all exist in this world together. We have to share it together. You can't teach your children to share. Sharing is caring if you don't know how to do it yourself. Right? So, um, it's what's it starts within. Most definitely Pearly Queen. Um, so I've been singing songs and jamming and finding myself being more encouraging to myself. Um because that's what I want to be. I want to be encouraging to others. So I've been encouraging myself. I've been thinking uh not just, blind positive thoughts about myself, but you know, um encouraging positive thoughts about myself. Um and creating positive you know habits for myself. Um because all of these things that I place within myself, right? All of these things that I fill myself with, you know, it's becomes a part of everything that I say, everything that I do, so that anything around me, they can feel it, they receive it, they can enjoy it, right? And it's not necessarily me trying to prove it, but it's something that is automatically there because I filled myself with it. I've emptied this canvas of all of the things that was not suiting the full purpose of me. And I'm placing it with things that is not only just valuable for me, but it's valuable for the existence around me. Does that make sense? That is what healing is. That is what us women we need to enjoy. Um I went and got my car washed, and I had to go to the hood and get my car washed, right? And of course the people around are talking and everything like that. And it's like almost every conversation around, people felt comfortable with you know, I guess relating in the victim mentality. And I got this going on, man, and I done been through this and I done been through that. And it's just like it's like an unhealthy form of communication that keeps everybody bounded. Um and not necessarily anybody that's around that you know they're gonna it makes me feel like they're gonna run it away anyway. Not necessarily anybody that is there with any resolution or understanding, you know. That voice is always not necessarily considered, because a lot of people they find comfort, or they think that they found a resolution just by relating in victim mentality. Um, but it takes a lot of strength to stand in accountability. It takes a lot of strength to orbit around things that are accountable. You know, the sad song convo, most definitely Pearly. It has to be within, not bought, fake, nothing exactly. It is most definitely within. And I think that people got to understand that it got to be in you, not on you. It's a lot of people that can look like something, but it's those that have it within. You know what I'm saying? And the society will fool you. It'll have you feeling as if, the ones that look like it are it, and have the ones that have it within seem as if they have nothing at all. You got to be careful of this here matrix, because it is a deceiver of those who are looking through the eyes of the flesh and not the eyes of the soul. Oh, what I was going to say. Oh, man, y'all had me going. You could tell I got to be able to read your comment, Pearly, because this thing is in the way. It says share your referral link. I hope y'all don't see that, because I don't even know what that is. What referral link would I be sharing? Um, but um, I mean, life is a trip. Um, but it's always like, oh, this is what I wanted to say. Y'all know how grandma would cook. Grandma cooked for the holidays, or if the baby's there, she cooked for the babies for breakfast, lunch, dinner. And growing up, when grandma was cooking, you tell everybody, can't nobody cook like my grandma. Can't nobody cook like my grandma. My grandma could cook, right? I still say that to this day. My grandma can throw down. Can't nobody cook like my grandma, you know? And the reason why we have this statement is because when grandma was cooking, she wasn't just throwing with, the right kind of grandma. I'm going to talk about my Susan May, okay? She wasn't just throwing it together. My grandma was in that kitchen, and she was cooking it with love, with care, with concern of my well-being. And that's why it tastes so fulfilling when you had it, right? You don't see it, Pearly Queen? It must just be on my end. And that's what nurture is. It is something that is fulfilling when you receive it. Because everybody cook grits. You could go to Waffle House and get some grits. But when grandma made that grits and she had that pot on and she was stirring that grits and she was watching that grits and maintaining that grits, she was doing it with a sense of love for her baby, her babies. You know, it was giving you a hug from the inside from grandma. And grandma give you that hug on the outside and that grits give you the hug on the inside. You know, that's the feeling of when you got that release and that relief. That's the feeling of when you found a way to pour into yourself and you pour it out. So anybody that's walking by, anybody that sit around you just for a little while, they feel that grits of love from the inside. Even when you're giving them a hug on the outside. What you say, Pearly? Let me turn it sideways. See what it says. I still can't see it, y'all. This thing, my grandma was too, and it tasted good, most definitely. Now I read that real crazy because this link referral is really in the way of all of the bottom comments. So if y'all want to, y'all could type something twice, and then your comments will go up. But yes, my grandma used to cook that food. Let me tell you. Early in the morning, we got some smothered shrimp and grits with some onions in it, or the salmon with some rice. And dinner time, she done cooked that chicken with some onions and rice and or some corn and string beans or whatever the case may be. And growing up, when you get a little older, they say, "Oh, that food, that's cheap food." Whatever you want to call it, it was rich because it was made for the nourishment of my body, my mind, and soul. Even when she used to make our cheese toast. When we were sick, grandma used to make us some cheese toast with some tomato soup. And she said, "Y'all get you a can of ginger ale." And we used to have a can of ginger ale with some tomato soup and some cheese toast. And she did it just right. She didn't have to do it. You just throw it in the mic. No, she got up and she made it on that stove, you know? And see, that's what nourishment is care. So I've been taking some time to care for myself, you know, so that, I can be able to care um, for others because we find pleasure in being there for those we care about, right? But I can't give you what I don't have. But good thing that I know how to get it, right? We had a farm fresh sausage off the pigs was good. Oh, let me tell you, Pearly. Okay, so growing up, um, my aunt Hattie, my great grandma and her sisters, they had they had like some land and they had like a farm and all kinds of stuff, and it was real country life. Okay, And we didn't go that often, but we used to go out there with my Aunt Hattie and her churn, and everybody was out there, and they used to have the chickens and stuff. I think I told y'all this last conversation, right? And oh my god, I think I can't remember if I think she killed a chicken or something like that. She did something one day, and she asked us if we wanted some, and she was serious, and I was ready to go. Cause let me tell you, I just felt like that was just the harshest thing ever. But yes, ginger ale, yes. My grandma, I love my grandma. Susan May. And see, my grandma, let me tell you, she don't care what you got going on. You could be at work. If she needs you to go to the store, you need to go to the store. I say, Grandma, I'm at work. She said, I need you to go to the store. And one thing about it, you gonna make it happen. You wanna know why? Cause she getting ready to cook. And everybody go to grandma's house to eat. Period. Even when we was sick, grandma was right there. You go to grandma's house and grandma gonna rub your feet, rub your back, everything, make it all right. You know. So yes, get you some ginger ale, eat your cheese toast and tomato soup, and then she let you put your feet up. And then when you start to feel better, she cook you a good old meal. Mm-mm. Now, one thing about it, you can't go in and out of grandma's house. So when you outside, you outside. She didn't play that growing up. We used to be all over the neighborhood, y'all. We used to be all over the neighborhood just playing with the kids and having fun. Cause you can't go in and out of grandma's house. That's just one thing she was not going for, right? But all in all, um, I think I've been through quite a few traumatic events at one time, right? And healing can be quite selfish at times. And it can make it hard, um, especially when you're trying to be considerate of others. And I don't mean to step on anybody's toes. And so, um, even though healing does not stop, progression is always possible, right? And the method of my madness is just that. It's not with any ill intent, not for myself or others, but for me to gain what I feel like I have lost so that I can recreate and reproduce what I have always been, you know, within, in my heart. It's, just easy. Easy like Sunday morning. Just peaceful. Just, a place of peace. That's what I'm getting back to. I find my most creative moments from, peace. Um, I am mentally an artist. That's what I am. And I can create a lot. Even under pressure, I can, but I find the most value when I'm able to do it in peace. Yeah, grandma was in that kitchen whipping with that wrist. Whoop it, whoop it, whoop it, whoop it. Grandma don't play. And my grandma didn't raise a loud house. My mama didn't raise a loud house. I'm not raising a loud house. Um, and I found myself at times becoming loud, and I'm not very proud of it, even if it's understandable. I'm a very peaceful person. I'm lit now. Let's not get it twisted. Your girl lit. But I'm lit in a healthy way too now. You know, I don't like, doing all the things that do not serve me. I want to do things and have a good time without being problematic, because I have done that. I've been problematic before, and I'm quite good at being problematic if necessary. But I feel so much joy in being in peace with everything, with everyone, and creating meaningful things, and elevating something powerful, you know. So in my effort of release, okay, you know, it's only for that feeling of relief for me and for everyone else. We don't, let's find a way to get past the things that have caused us hurt or harm, because that's the only thing that it's trying to do, is trying to keep you in that place of hurt and harm. And I refuse to be in that place, because it feels so good to be happy. It feels so good to be free. Um, and come be free with me, because it feels good. And you'll love it. And it ain't nothing to be afraid of. I mean, unless you got bad intentions and you trying to disturb it. But other than that, we living freely. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to give that. I've had a busy week, and yeah, we're gonna keep this thing going. We growing, we elevating, and finding power in ourselves, finding the power in ourselves, seeing the power in ourselves. That's what Angie been doing. All right, peace and blessings. I love y'all. Pretty Queen, thank you for sticking with me. I'll see y'all next time.